You're listening to Amazing Radio. This is Amazing Afternoons. Delighted to say that one of our tips for 2023, Tom A. Smith, is in the studio with me right now. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. It's always good when one of our tips list artists comes into the studio and speaks to ourselves and does a couple of songs for us, which you're going to do in a bit.
Yeah.
But it's also good to see one of our tips list artists doing so well. And you are having a good 2023, would you say, so far?
Yeah, it's been it's pretty wild so far. Yeah, it's been top, and the rest of the year is looking pretty mega too. So it's all a bit mental at the minute. Love it.
Yeah, you've been giving us plenty of music as well. But to establish yourselves for our international audience, you know, it hasn't just been in 2023 where you've been putting out singles. You've been making music yourself for quite a long time. You've collaborated a couple of times recently with people who you admire and look up to. But when was it when you first picked up the guitar and said, you know, this is the life for me? You were pretty young, weren't you?
Oh yeah, well I started getting music lessons, guitar lessons when I was 4-year-old. A northeast band called Detroit Social Club. A couple of their members, Chris Corty, Dale Knight, used to come round every week and teach me and my brother and sister music lessons. It could be guitar, piano, anything. Would play a bit of football, a bit of FIFA, and and then eventually just sort of progressed into just, you know, every single week doing hour-long guitar lessons and learning and loving it and always wanting to get better for the next week. And I did my first gig with them when I was 8 at Clooney.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing anyway. So you had a bit of a reputation for like popping up, especially around the northeast, while you were at junior school, certainly, just kind of popping up, and you even supported ourselves, Frankie and the Heartstrings, on a couple of occasions as well. And then what I think has happened is we kind of went into COVID, and then you kind of came out ready and prepared to take it really seriously.
No, absolutely. Well,
were you writing lots during lockdown? You were certainly putting stuff on socials a lot, weren't you?
Well, it was I just sort of, well, before lockdown, I didn't really have a plan with it, I suppose. I was quite happy to keep doing covers, really.
Yeah.
But then I sort of looked at it and thought, right, this is what I want to do in the long term, and I'm going to have my own music to do this. I had like 10 original songs at the time. But when, you know, it was the year of my GCSEs and that was out the window now. I weren't doing that anymore. So I just thought, right, I'm going to treat every day like I'm still at school, a 9 to 5 job, and just write and write and write. And by the time lockdown had finished, you know, I had a good, you know, 150, 200 songs ready that I'd recorded and demoed, which is now sort of, even since then, progressed to close to 500 now. So yeah, it was just a time for me to sort of really hone in on the craft of songwriting and recording, and it was a great creative, productive time for me, and it's put us in good stead for coming out of it, I suppose. Yeah
Definitely it has. But if you're writing that many songs, how do you decide which ones you're gonna take to the next level and you know, record and think about, you know how this would sound live and things like that? I mean, how do you pick it? Do you just go for the ones with your favorite melodies or something like that?
I suppose, yeah. Well, I always sort of like, I put them in every time I write a song or record a song, I'll add it to a playlist I've got, which is tracks in order of favoritism.
Okay.
Which has hundreds of songs on now. And, you know, I'll just is it better than that one? Is it not better than that one? Obviously, when you first initially write a song, it's always going to be up there as one of your favourite because it's new. But every so often I'll go back and arrange it, and I'll just think about what songs I've put out previously. Maybe I want to put something with a different sound out, or maybe I want to follow a similar sound. You know, the EPs, we tend to sort of try to, especially for the last couple, give it a sort of sound sort of theme. I know for the first EP, I went completely out there, and every single song was a different genre, pretty much. But so I try and sort of base it off that, I suppose, but it is a nightmare and it takes forever.
Yeah. You know, you're saying about writing the song in the moment and thinking it sounds great. Have you ever wrote a song, went back to it the next day and thought, oh, that's terrible?
Yeah. I mean, quite a few times, yeah. But the thing is, you know, you'll write 20, 30 songs and 20 or 30 of them don't need to be good because nobody needs to hear them. Like, only you need to hear them. But if you have 5 or 6 in there that are brilliant and you really like them, then it was worth doing that. So yeah, there's been times where I've not really liked a song, but I suppose I'm at the stage now where I sort of know very early on whether it's for me or if it's not. Every time I sort of finish recording or creating a demo now, it's I'll be happy with it. or I just wouldn't finish it.
Yeah. Did you see recently that album Mac DeMarco dropped with like 200 tracks on it, and it was just essentially just demos?
No, I have seen that. Yeah. I'd maybe one day, but
Yeah,
he's got a lot.
Yeah, he's got quite a loyal following who might just kind of just absorb anything he kind of puts out. He's at that level, isn't he? But I mean, listen through it. I mean, some of it's quite formed ideas, and like a full 3-minute song with a melody of sorts, you would hear on a normal. Some of it is just a noise for like 5 minutes, and you're thinking, really? But I listen to it anyway, so more for me.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a couple of songs for us. So let's have the first one. Weirdo is current single.
Yeah.
Great track. It seems to be picking up a lot of traction as
absolutely.
well. And I think especially live, it seems to be working quite well for you. This one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've over the last few months, I've known that this was going to be a single that I put out, and I've sort of created like a group chat on WhatsApp where like there's loads of people who who follow what I do and are really supportive of what I do can join and be part of it and talk to each other. And it's the group chat's called Weirdos, and there's like 300 members in there now, and it's going mad all day.
What kind of stuff gets posted in there? Memes?
No, it's not actually memes. No, it's quite like people wearing my merch, and people discussing which songs are their favourite of mine.
Oh, really?
Where they live.
So it's
and
like
stuff
an
like that.
active fan club which you're looking at,
and they're all like arranging to meet each other before gigs and go for drinks and that, and it's like amazing to see people who follow what I do getting close to each other and becoming friends, which is great. And obviously, it's not called Weirdos based on the people who were in the group, by the way. That's I wouldn't do that to them. But so now it's just sort of been this thing where I'm a weirdo. We're all weirdos.
So they've got an anthem now, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. And I've got this T-shirt which says "I'm a weirdo" with an arrow pointing up, and and they're wearing them, which is amazing. Yeah, but the support for this song has been the best so far. I think it's been brilliant.
Great. Well, let's hear a special version for us here at Amazing Radio right now. It's Tommy Smith and Weirdo.
You freeze your heart, well I'll melt it back, 'cause my heart burns for you. We drift apart, I'll get us back on track. I've got the strength for two. I'm a weirdo, you're a weirdo, we're both weirdos. I wanna be a weirdo with you. You build a fence, well I'll burn it down. I can't give up on you. If you get bored, we'll paint the town. I'm a weirdo, you're a weirdo too. I'm a weirdo, you're a weirdo, we're both weirdos. I wanna be a weirdo with you. I'm immature and I would bend for you, if I thought this mess would end. But you just drag it on and you deny you got it wrong, and then you make me think again. Put yourself in my shoes, I can go on all day until you look at me that way. We're both blinking, we're both weirdos, and we'll always be that way. We'll always be that way. I'm a weirdo, you're a weirdo, we're both weirdos. I wanna be a weirdo with you. Well, I'm immature and I would bend for you, if I thought this mess would end. But you just drag it on and you deny you got it wrong, and then you make me think again. Well, I'm immature and I would bend for you, if I thought this mess would end. But you just drag it on and you deny you got it wrong, and then you'd make me think again. You're a Joe. I'm a weird Joe. I wanna be a weirdo with you.
Tommy Smith on Amazing Radio, a brilliant version of his track Weirdo. Thanks so much for doing that, Tom. You're going to be busy. You are already busy, but festival season is upon us.
Yeah.
You did a rival radio station's big road show last weekend. Was that fun?
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. Met some incredible people. Incredible new artists as well who are on the same stage as me. And yeah, it was a great weekend and a brilliant festival, and the weather was nice as well, which is the first time.
Yeah, in Scotland as well.
Yeah, exactly.
How strange is that? Festival season, does that mean you're going to be doing most weekends? What festivals have you got coming up?
Yeah, it's pretty rammed. I think we've got like 20 festivals booked over the summer, which is...
Do you enjoy festivals?
I love them, yeah. I'm not sure what I think of the whole, 15-minute set up and get ready and be on stage sort of thing. It's a bit.
But if anything, though, you're probably quite equipped for that because you have done so many gigs and you've done all those support gigs all those years ago as well, where you were just kind of like, okay, quick line check, right, go and do some songs. You're prepared for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've got it all set out so we all know what we're doing, and it's very quick.
You've got to work as a team, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah. But no, it's absolutely rammed. We got Glastonbury coming up, which is we're buzzing for. Of course, we got Sunderland calling too. Tucked in the middle of there, we got 2 nights with James at a Peace Hall, which will be amazing. We got Why Not Festival coming up in the summer too. First time playing that, and I've heard it's amazing. The lineup just looks unbelievable. 110 Above, which is a festival that I've played like the last 5 years it's been on and absolutely love it, and Hardwick as well for people up here. Yeah. But it's just a rammed time, I suppose.
There, and amongst all this, you also announced your biggest tour to date, headline tour, certainly biggest headline tour to date as well. Loads of dates. I mean, a lot more than what people normally do. What's the thinking behind this? You just want to get out and see those places and see those fans?
Well, we got people who are always commenting, and
You'll always get people though, Tom. You say, oh, tonight we're playing in Todmorden. Oh, why didn't you play at the village along from the road from that?
Yeah, I know, yeah. But the thing is, I just wanted to make a tour where anybody had the chance to see me, anyone in the UK, that is.
Go on then, do you want to read out? All right, okay. Do you think you can remember, off the top of your head, Tom, do you think you can read the full tour? Here's a test for you. Yeah. Right, full tour, go.
So we got Glasgow to start off with.
Right, he's got the first one, right.
Then Edinburgh.
Yep.
Then we're off to York.
Yeah.
Then we're off to Hull.
Yeah.
Then we're off to Sheffield.
Yeah.
Then we're off to Leeds.
This is quite well routed so far.
Whoever
organised this, yeah.
Well, the last one we did, it was like the top of the country, then we're in London.
I heard about that. That was bad routing.
And then we're off to Liverpool, Nottingham, Leicester, Bedford, Plymouth, Exeter, Brighton, Southampton, Oxford, Cardiff, Bristol, Birmingham, St Albans, London, Margate, Guildford, Tunbridge Wells, Cambridge, Norwich, Manchester, Middlesbrough, then we're finishing in Sunderland.
Off the top of your head, that was incredible.
Yeah,
Tom.
I didn't read all of them off off a note there at all.
So you must be quite excited about it. And for the people who don't know, you've got a full band, haven't you, where you play with live. Do you want to give them a shout out now? Because they're very much part of the Tom Smith experience.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We've got Dylan and Fraser who play, Dylan's on guitar and Fraser's on drums. And I've known them for like 10, Dylan for 15 years and Fraser for about 10, and they used to be in bands with my older brother, so they always practicing in the house and all that, and I used to do, and they've joined me on stage a couple of times when I was even younger. I can't really say when I was younger because I'm not older, am I?
No.
So it's but yeah, back like when I played Kendall Calling and all that, they joined me.
So was it quite important for you as well? You touched upon it coming out of COVID that you had some regular people around you, because I guess it was initially quite hard to nail down those regulars. I know Dylan's been with you probably the longest, I think. But then to get the rest of the band around you.
Oh, absolutely. And at college as well, I met Katie, who plays bass for us now, and she's brilliant, brilliant performer as well. And do you know what it is? Like, even though I've got no problem at all people using session musicians, if you can afford to do it and they sound brilliant, why not? But the fact that we can all be friends, and we've all known each other and we are really close, and we get to, and touring is pretty much just sitting in a van with people and breathing the same air for 7 hours a day, and I get along with them great, and they're brilliant live now, great live force, and It's no, it's I couldn't pick a band that I would rather tour with than these lot. They're great.
Yeah, and you mentioned being in the van there, Tom. I listened to you on a recent podcast where you revealed you're not okay with crisps coming out in the van.
I know, yeah.
What is that about? Because that is probably the most controversial thing you've done in your career to date, to admit that. You said ready salted you can live with, but what is that from?
I don't know. I think it's just like some people have it with tuna and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can understand it with tuna, but not crisps. I mean, people live on crisps.
If you open a chili heat wave Doritos.
Is it a smell?
Yeah, it is. It's a smell. Yeah. It's
See, I can understand that if it was pickled onion space raiders because they stink,
yeah.
right?
But even like, you know what they're called, fish and chips and all that. It's like disgusting. Like
really?
It just stinks. It's all. You're sitting in a tiny box.
What do you eat for snacks then?
Chocolate and all that, and sandwiches is fine for the most part. But I mean, we're stopping at Mackey's and Burger King every 10 minutes. You don't need to be opening crisps. But
well, okay then. All right then. I'll let you off with that. You're going to do another song for us before you leave. You're going to do Little Bits, I believe, another bit of an anthem for you. I can imagine this one working well at festivals.
Oh yeah.
How long have you had this one in your locker for, though?
So it's actually, I think, other than Weirdo, the most recent one I wrote.
Right.
And it was like last April I wrote it as soon as I got back from touring with Gang of Youths. I sat in a pub with Dave, the lead singer, and he basically told me how he sits down and writes a song. And
how does he sit down and write a song?
Well, it's like 808 drums. He'll start with that, and then he'll put like a bass line over it. And
so you get tempo first.
Yeah. And you're always thinking about, you know, the live sound and people getting involved and all that. And I just decided to try it myself as soon as I got back. And this was the song that instantly came from it. I also wanted to write something that I could. I know they make the Creed films, but if they made a modern day Rocky film,
it's very invoking, kind of positive mental attitude. Get up and go, isn't that? Is that the kind of approach?
I think so. Yeah. It's that sort of. And the main thing was is it going to be massive live?
Yeah.
Which was really important to me, and it is. Because you got that big backing vocal hook pop after the choruses, which people are getting involved with. But yeah, it's one of my favourite ones to play live, absolutely. Good.
We're going to hear in a second. Last question. Are we going to have more music from you in 2023?
Yeah, I've got another EP coming out.
Yeah.
It's 30th of June, isn't it? Yeah, I'm allowed to say that now.
Good.
30th of June.
How many tracks are we on there?
So we got Like You Do, Weirdo, and also Little Bits are going to be on there. But there's a couple of others as well. I think
that's strong already. That's really strong EP, that, Tom. And I guess the people listening would like to get that and help support you. And, you know, we here at Amazing Radio will pretty much, you know, you could do a Mac DeMarco on us and put out 4 minutes of noise, and we would have to support it because we've nailed our flags to the mast, as it were. We said you're going to be big in 2023, so don't you know, we've got your back here at Amazing Radio.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for popping in. You're going to do Little Bits for us now. Do you want to say anything else on the radio before you go?
I think everything's been pretty well covered.
Do you want to say hello to anyone, your mum or anything like that?
I suppose. Hello, Mum. How are you doing?
There you go. Well done. This is Tom A. Smith and Little Bits on Amazing Radio.
It's impossible. Well, I've heard that said about 1,000,000 times before. It's beyond me. But the fact remains that they probably wanted more in the distance. There is a goal that you can achieve, break down bit by bit. There's got to be a point where you believe. Try a little bit harder, work a little bit longer, drive a little bit further, push a little bit stronger. And I do pull these bits and believe you can break through. Try a little bit harder, work a little bit longer, drive a little bit further, push a little bit stronger. And I do pull these bits and believe you can break through. And be unbreakable. The smallest things can push you on again. Be unshakable. Don't be and live. You can be aware. Try a little bit harder, work a little bit longer, drive a little bit further, push a little bit stronger. The night of all these bits, and believe you can break through. Try a little bit harder, work a little bit longer, drive a little bit further, push a little bit stronger. The night of all these bits, and believe you can break through. And do and do and do and if you think that is impossible, in the distance there is a goal that you can achieve. Break down bit by bit. There's got to be a point where you believe. Try a little bit harder, work a little bit longer, drive a little bit further, push a little bit stronger. The night of all these bits, and believe you can break through. Try a little bit harder, work a little bit longer, drive a little bit further, push a little bit stronger. The night of all these bits, and believe you can break through.